All right. So, welcome, Jeremy. I cannot tell you how happy I am that you're here. Um, Jeremy and I met a while ago and bonded over a shared love for D&D.
Hmm.
So, I am thrilled that you're here. Chat, as you think of questions that you'd like to ask Jeremy, go ahead and throw them in there. But let me get things rolling off, Jeremy, just sort of by asking you, like, what was your path to becoming an audiobook narrator? What led you into this field?
I have always been a performer, but all through school and a little past that, I was a musician, sax player. But I've always loved performing, and my last career was musical instrument repair, and I
Oh,
got from performing so much, just didn't get a chance to, especially with having kids. I ran out of time in the day, so I was looking for something more that I would be inspired by again, because I kind of lost that in the work that I was doing.
hmm.
And my wife actually suggested looking into voice acting, and I said, that sounds terrible. I don't like that at all. So a couple weeks later, I started looking into voice acting because it seemed interesting. And then right away, she was like, you love audiobooks. You love listening to them. You're great to listen to. You should look into audiobooks. And I said, no, that's a terrible idea. That's way too much work. I could never do that. So a couple weeks later, I found ACX and started looking into audiobooks because it seemed like a good idea. I tried out for a few books on ACX. I got a couple 45-minute books, and I just enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun, and I went, okay, yeah, this I can spend some time doing. So decided if I was going to do it, I was going to take it serious. Signed up with Sean Pratt and went through his whole course over 2.5 years, and yeah, just went at it.
Right on. What was it that you liked so much about it? What was it that sort of rang that bell for you?
I love the storytelling. I love getting involved in the new world and finding out uh, just in fiction the world that's there, the rules, the everything that's happening there, and how it's different. I love getting into the characters and really thinking about how they're feeling and how are going to react into different situations, and really trying to get into that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Matthew LeMay from the chat is saying that he's a fellow sax player. So let me ask on his behalf, like, what's your favorite music to play? Either genre, or is there a particular piece that does it for you?
I like. I was a huge fan of the summer of ska back in the '90s. I played in a ska band. God, would have been 10 years ago now. So I love that. I love playing and all small ensemble stuff, jazz music, blues, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And I'm a Barry
Rachel.
sax player specifically.
Rachel is asking, what's the hardest book that you've narrated so far?
Um, Hardest book that I've
Yeah.
narrated. So I did a series called Paranoid Mage, and the author is great, has a fabulous vocabulary, but just brings in a lot of words that I'm like, I've never seen that word before at all, and weaves them in so effortlessly into what he's writing. But I definitely learned a lot of words from that book, from the whole series.
Right on. And I know you have a lot of lit RPG under your belt. What is it that draws you to that genre in particular?
I think the same kind of stuff that brings me to D&D. It's for those that don't know, lit RPG is kind of the idea is it's a role-playing game, whether it's something like tabletop D&D or kind of like video games, anything like that, where most of the time our main character is kind of dropped into that system, and they go from just being a normal guy walking down the street, and suddenly we've got to figure out these skills that we have and how we're going to level things up and gain XP and all of that kind of stuff. And it's very similar in D&D with leveling up and fun skills. So it's really, really fun.
Nice. Now, I was curious because I mean, I know from when we met that you're an avid D&D player. Do you find any sort of resonance between playing role-playing games and narrating? Like, do you find that playing RPGs enhances your narrating, or your narrating enhances your RPG experience?
Yeah. You're having to be in character when you're playing D&D, and it's a lot more spontaneous. So you're really having to focus on how does this character work, what are they going to do, and reacting to that and trying to play through as quickly as you can, which helps when you're in the book and you've got multiple characters and you're playing through and you start to go, oh no, this is going to be the way that they're going to deliver these lines, and this is how they're going to go back and forth in this scene.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Matthew from the chat is asking if there's a favorite D&D class race that you like playing.
I play a lot of paladin. I play a bit of cleric. Mostly, I like to play the tank. I like to be the big person up front taking the hits. And even when I've played monks and characters that go down faster, I have had many times where I will run ahead and make sure that I am in the front, taking all the damage, protecting people.
Outstanding. That feels like a very dad thing to do.
Yeah,
I like to do the same thing. Yeah. Well, everybody is coming back now, so let me just ask you one last question before the rest of the group comes back. Is there a book you've narrated that has really stuck with you, right? Like, I hate asking, like, is there a favorite book? Because it often, our favorites are often the one we're doing right now, no matter what it is. But some books live longer than others in our spirits. So is there a book that you've narrated that's really sort of stuck with you?
I think that I definitely auditioned for a lot of different romance because it's a popular genre. But I never really got into it. I never really cared. It was, just a book to read.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a book called The Place Between, which is a tropey adversaries to lovers book. And by the end of that, like, I was invested in the characters. I was waiting for them to get together. Like, it was a whole fake dating thing for work. And like, you knew where it was going, but like, I was actually invested in it. And I got to the end, I was like, oh, okay, no, this I can enjoy. And so I've focused a bit more on looking at that kind of stuff when I've looked at romance, because I actually got into that.
Nice. And as we come back from chat, Rachel, if you could bring everybody back, let me just ask you, Jeremy, if we want to hear more of your narration, and you all should want to hear more of Jeremy's narration, is there a particular book that you'd like to encourage people to go check out?
Right now, just recently came out Road to Mastery by Valerios, published by Aethon Books. And for those that like value, for 1 credit, you get over 30 hours of lit RPG.